Hello and welcome back to the RedLeafRetrocast Modern Gaming Podcast for November 29th. I've already stuffed this up.
Keep going. Commit to it.
Episode 20.
It's just a bad promo that's non-scripted.
Fine. Hello and welcome back to the RedLeafRetrocast Modern Gaming Podcast, episode 27?
Yes.
For November 2019. There we go. I didn't
Hooray!
botch it. I'm your host, Jay Silver. And I'm joined by the other host of this.
I did a thing.
Fine, you just interrupt me, but that's 100% fine.
There's a lot of that here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So guess what drink I have right now?
Monster Energy. Or tea.
Well, the tea would be a good guess. I actually have Bailey's with 2 cubes of ice.
Did you add milk?
No, it's Bailey's. It's already cream.
Yeah, but you can add milk to it and it gets creamier.
Why? There's a joke there.
So, dude.
Yeah, I've been on the big Bailey's kick lately.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very, very good. I occasionally have it.
It's very relaxing.
It is, but like more of a Scotch and whiskey person, if I do say so myself.
I have been in a big Scotch mood again lately. It's that time of year. It's cold.
Yeah, it's almost time for Wrestle Kingdom too, which is always a good Scotch
beautiful
drink.
time of year. You know what's
So
another
much...
great time of year? The turn of the decade.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of crazy.
Came upon us quick. Now, Jay, why are we here?
We're here to talk the November games for 2019. There is approximately 5 of them or 6 of them. 5 of them.
I guess you could say 5.5.
Well, I mean, maybe I was counting Sword and Shield as 2 separate games.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Well, dude, clearly one's called Pokemon Sword and the other one's called Pokemon Shield. They're different, so therefore it is 6 games.
Right, yeah. You'd think they'd be over that, but people still buy them in droves.
I will be doing a review of obviously the superior copy, which is Shield.
Ah, okay. You can totally attack me with your shield. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I can block you with my shield. Ooh.
Yeah, you can try.
You know, like as you just said though, like you'd think at this point people would have caught on. Well, obviously people have caught on, but like, why are we still paying for 2 separate games?
I don't know. They're the exact same game.
Pretty much, with like an exclusive monster here and there, which you just like jump onto the GTS and trade for anyway.
Right. Like I guess it made a little bit of sense in the 90s when you needed a link cable and actual friends, not these fake online ones that, I don't know, you and I are.
And like obviously, dude, back in those days you needed to pay the extra money for those friends. Because it's not like the link cable.
Well, yeah, the friend fees, right?
I need that Alakazam. No trade backs now, it's mine. Now I've got 2 spoons, you've only got 1.
Yeah, right.
So, dude, there's a state of play on this afternoon.
Yes. Night for me, afternoon for you. There is a PlayStation State of Play. I'm always generally interested in it. They're very unmemorable most of the time, but I do get some important information out of whether it's games or, in this case, maybe we'll get a sneak peek of technology for the PS5 kind of deal.
Maybe some launch titles and stuff.
I don't know about the launch titles. That might come E3 next year, maybe?
Look, you might get a hint of one.
I don't know. Maybe. I could see them just being like, hey, PS5, we'll have a bundle of Last of Us 2 or something. But the game would already be almost a year out at that point. Well, no, 6 months.
I mean, I'll probably be getting that on the PS4.
Oh yeah, no question. No question for me either.
Yeah. Will I play it again? It's entirely possible.
Of course you will.
Of course I will. I like
So
The
what are we
Last of Us.
predicting for this? Well, I guess we've already kind of started what we predict for the PlayStation State of Play.
Dude,
what about
let's,
2020 in general?
I want another Horizon game.
I would like an announcement, official announcement and gameplay for a Horizon game for 2021. Take their time.
2021? What if it came out like later half of 2020?
I mean, they do already have the engine for it, so just another Horizon doesn't seem like it's too far-fetched.
True. I don't know if they might do something for the Assassin's Creed game that's kind of being leaked. Kind of not
Yeah,
being.
they said it was in Norway or something.
Yeah, it's a Viking game.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
It does sound pretty cool. Sounds like we're getting back to black sails ever so slowly though. Instead of like cannibals, we're shooting arrows.
Good. I'm all for that.
They had that kind of gameplay sort of stuff in Odyssey if you got up to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean there was a bit of that in Origins.
Yeah, but
Didn't
the
really-
boating stuff in Origins was bad.
Oh, yeah, I didn't care for it either. So
Yeah, at least Odyssey kind of made it
it
fun.
was just the one scene, anyways, I had to deal with.
Yeah, like I said, at least Odyssey kind of made it fun. But like after you've discovered each like main kind of island, you just like fast travel to the waypoints anyway, and the boat kind of becomes a back burner sort of thing, unlike in Black Sails where you kind of just need it all the time.
Well, and they
Sorry,
made it fun in
Black
Black
Flag.
Sails. I don't know. So we're predicting the next Assassin's Creed game.
Next
Which-
Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, which we'll probably end up getting. And then I'll complain about it and then play it anyways. And then I'll be like, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, kind of like. Have you played much more Odyssey yet?
They fixed a couple of the egregious things that I really hated. And it kept me from liking the game more.
So, would you say you like it now?
I like it, but it's still not as good as everyone else is saying. I still wouldn't say it's better than Origins, although they did improve some things, like you said, the boats. But that wasn't a focus in Origins, so they kind of had to do that.
I prefer Odyssey to Origins. I just didn't like the Egypt setting, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also thought that the main character of Origins was kind of a bit boring.
Well, there was more character type stuff in Odyssey, but okay. So new Assassin's Creed.
Dude, like I made my character shag everything that walked, so it was great.
Well, of course you would. Why would you not?
Yeah. It's like you playing as a friggin' racist drug addict in Disco Elysium.
You have to play as a racist drug addict because I can't do that in real life.
So
People
you're
frown upon that in
literally
society.
You're literally playing a role-playing game.
Exactly.
Sounds like you would get right into D&D, my dude.
Surprisingly, I never have. I've tried it a number of times.
That's
It's not
surprising.
my jam. Yeah,
Weird. I like it.
kind of like
It's
comic
fun.
books.
I like comic books too. Maybe we should do a Red Leaf comic book cast.
Nah, it's too much more work on top of me.
I mean, maybe we can just like chuck one book or one series at the start or end of modern gaming. We're already here.
No, we already discussed that. It's just not gonna happen.
Let's just throw out the feelers. We'll see if the fans want it.
If anyone wants to, I'll try.
You can support
or
us
at least
on
you can
Patreon.
do it, Jay.
Support us on Patreon.
Don't have a Patreon.
That's the joke.
We have PayPal and I guess a Streamlabs thing.
Anyway, so yeah, new Assassin's Creed. We've spoken about Horizon. There's been rumors around a new Batman game as well that have kind of like kicked up recently. But I'm not sure if that would be a PlayStation thing to announce. That seems like more like an E3 thing or a Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. I'd like to see more information on Ghost of Tsushima. I think that's going to be a thing tonight. That's the big time samurai game.
Probably get some more Last of Us 2 news.
Oh, absolutely, since that's the big release next year. Final Fantasy VII is kind of expected. You know what? Since we're Yakuza fans, fucking play up that Yakuza Remastered collection.
Well, they've already released 3 and 4 on the PSN. I'm just waiting for the hard copy.
Here comes 5, and then the hard copy's in February next year. So
yeah.
Don't forget to pre-order that sucker, because I will.
I will probably forget. Like, I'm just throwing this out there. Wouldn't it have made like more sense for them to possibly release that earlier? Like, it unlocks the other games as like they're released, like a digital lockout sort of thing.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, why couldn't they just give me the friggin' disc now? Why do I have to wait to February?
They didn't make it yet. It's only coming out as like the special edition because they just don't expect it to sell.
But yet, if I was in Japan, I could own Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 on the PS4 already.
It's very true. But you're not in Japan, so therefore only remastered collection together one time.
I will be there in about 2 months. Maybe I can get it then. It's not like the PS4's region locked.
Yeah, will it have the English language option though?
Don't know. But it's Yakuza, and if it has subtitles, that's good enough.
I don't think it would. Just a feeling.
Don't know. But like I said, if it does, good enough, right?
I mean, if you don't really care about the English voice acting, the Yakuza games have good English voice acting.
Well...
Not unlike a Yakuza-type game that we'll be discussing later.
Hold on.
Came out in November.
What Yakuza game has friggin' English voice acting besides Judgment?
They all do, don't they?
No. At least at the ones on PS4.
Doesn't Zero and Kiwami have English voice acting? Am I going crazy here?
If they do, I didn't play with them. Like, because it started off in Japanese, and I was just reading subtitles the whole time. Unless there's like an English voice acting thing in the options, and I just never switched over to it.
It's very possible. We could be both going crazy. One of us is going crazy.
I think the original version of Yakuza 1 on PS2 had English voice acting, but it was made into like more of a gangster sort of thing, kind of like Jedi.
Oh boy.
Yeah, if you go and like watch a Let's Play of that, it's kind of weird.
Let's see. I'd like I don't know how much PSVR they're gonna keep pushing. Seems very on the back burner these days, unfortunately.
JD, you've already had a PSVR game come out recently. It was called Concrete Genie.
Well, it's not the game Concrete Genie, that's the VR. It's just a little art option.
Well, maybe you can make yourself a RedLeafRetrocast logo.
I could, but I don't wanna. Let's see. Do we have any Xbox or Nintendo predictions for 2020?
I'm sure there'll be a new Forza Horizon, which I'll play.
Well, no, because Forza Horizon comes out the year after the mainline Forza games.
Which came out this year, didn't it?
No.
You sure about that? Because it's been a year or two since we've had a Horizon game.
Let's see. The last Horizon game came out last year.
Yeah, which means this year's the main series Forza game.
Let me see here. Yeah, well, the new Xbox is coming out, so that's when it would come out. The new Forza. Racing games are usually console release titles to show off the hardware capabilities.
Yeah, but I can just like get it on the Xbox One and play it now with Game Pass for like $1.
Project Cars. Forza 7 came out in 2017. And then Forza Horizon came out October 2018. Nothing came out this year.
For Forza 8?
So Forza 8 will probably be a console release title for the new Xbox in 2020. Chock filled with microtransactions, I bet you.
Yeah, well, dude, you need to get that friggin' 1987 Cadillac or something
Eh.
in order to win
Uh,
that one really obscure race series that you can't buy with it. Like, you can't partake in without that one car.
that sounds about right. Well,
Yeah.
Nintendo's a little bit of an unknown for 2020, with Animal Crossing kind of being the only release in the first half of the year.
All right, well, let's play a game. What remaster would you like Nintendo to do?
A remaster?
Well, they did friggin' Link's Awakening this year, and if they're gonna do like another sort of thing a la Link's Awakening, like, would you like to see a Sunshine? Would you like to see a 64?
Oh. Um,
Maybe a Star Fox?
uh, no.
I
Although
wouldn't.
some of the more popular Game Boy titles would be interesting, like Link's Awakening.
Mm,
I would rather them fucking have an e-store. Fix that shit in 2020.
I reckon we might end up with a Pokemon Let's Go friggin' something for Silver and Gold.
Ugh, gross.
Don't know what it's gonna be called, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
Let's go
Let's go
Silver and Gold.
Pokemon Dunsparce and Sudowoodo.
Maybe we'll get more information on the Metroid and Breath of the Wild sequel.
Maybe we'll get Pokemon Hilt.
Pokemon Hilt?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of that's kind of associated with a sword and a shield.
Ah.
Pokemon Handle.
Hmm. So not much predictions for 2020. That's going to be a super down year until the new console's coming out. You know?
Yeah, for PS4 and Xbox One is, but like we got a Switch. I'm sure the Switch game's
Oh,
coming out.
PS4 is going to be bumping, man. Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Neo 2.
Hey, what's the go with this Persona 5? Is it just like a Game of the Year edition or is it like a new game?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Persona Royale.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it because it comes with the soundtrack, and the soundtrack for Persona 5 was like really good.
Or you could just log on to Spotify and have it for
We've
free.
had this conversation. I want a CD.
Oh, okay. I don't remember the last CD I bought. That was maybe 12 years ago.
I remember the last CD I bought. It was last week on eBay for like $4.
Hmm.
It was from the dude who just debuted in AEW in his metal band.
Guy with a metal band.
It's the guy with the monocle.
Oh, I wasn't aware he had a band.
Yeah, did you not know that?
I did not know that.
Did you want to check them out?
No. That's quite all right.
It's just because you don't like metal, isn't it?
It is exactly because I don't like metal.
Well, for anyone out there who likes metal or hardcore punk, the band is called Every Time I Die. Because metal and punk.
I see. Well, those were our low-key predictions and intro. Jay, I have a drop I want to play. What should I do?
You should play the Legend of Zelda Overworld theme.
I'll have to get that.
Well, I'm surprised you don't already have it. You do
Well,
a
I have
retro
the Zelda
gaming
chest
pass.
opening from Ocarina of Time. Will that
Well,
will that
that's
suffice for the time being?
no, it's not the Overworld theme. Dun 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 dun.
Well, I think it's appropriate that I play Pokemon then.
I mean, which version?
I just double clicked. Here it comes. It's coming. There it goes, kind of. Maybe. There. Well, there, I did it.
That
It
is
was really
such a
loud in
good
my
friggin-
ears. I hope it's not
that
loud
is
for
like
everyone else.
that is like the best theme ever, like the Champion Blue theme from Red and Blue. I'm so happy you played that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you played. What was it?
Intro 2020 predictions is just what I'll call it, because whatever.
Nice.
So we have 5 games, plus ending the podcast with my mom's opinion over Death Stranding, because she got to play it herself.
It's a walking simulator.
Sure is.
It's only Kojima could license and sell a successful walking simulator.
But we have an order that we have to go through. So
We have a what
the
now?
first one is Need for Speed Heat.
Whoa.
Everyone needs more heat. When was the last Need for Speed game? Let's see.
The last good one or the last Need for Speed?
No. Just the last one that came out that was egregious and horrible.
Probably a year or two ago. What was that, like
Looking
Rivals or something?
at 2019. Need for Speed. Oh, this is great content, let me tell you.
Dude, so good. I like the parts in those games when you go fast in a car.
Need for Speed. Jay, tell me about Need for Speed. You totally played it, right?
You get into a car.
Okay, I love it. As I keep going with that, as I look up when the previous
And you
Need for
hold
Speed
down
game
the
came
right
out.
trigger on your controller, and the car moves forward. And then eventually you hit this thing called speed that you have a need for, and you just continue driving very fast while being pursued, I'm assuming by the police and other
Payback!
racers.
It was in 2017.
Did I cover the game?
You covered the basic mechanics of it all.
Sweet.
So, this podcast was around at that point in 2017, and Need for Speed Payback was a game that came out, and for longtime listeners, I hated that game. I totally hated Need for Speed Payback.
So for long-time listeners, he also hates this game.
Not as much. It doesn't do the horrid, egregious fuck you mechanics that Payback did. So, little trip down memory lane. Payback was mostly a game with loot boxes and microtransactions.
This game
hard.
is mostly a game with cars.
So the shtick of Need for Speed Heat is it's a Forza game during the day. So it's pretty boring and dull. Without all the intricate driving mechanics that a Forza or Gran Turismo game would have. So,
Right.
How do you make this interesting? Well, at night, it becomes Midnight Club. Right? Or Need for Speed Underground, for
Need for
people
Speed
that
Carbon.
remember that
Need for
series.
Speed Most Wanted.
Yeah.
The
It
good
becomes
Need for
that. The more betterer Need for Speed games.
Speed. Betterer is a word.
Yeah. Well, that's why I used it, Jay. Well, at night, it basically becomes that you race cars for slips and all that nonsense. It's very self-explanatory. The one huge bullshit factory, because every Need for Speed game has to have one of those, is they wanted to bring back the cops, and the cops being a royal pain in your ass. You can't shake these cops off. They're impossible. They basically drive bulletproof tank Corvettes, or however you want to call their car.
So, hold on. In like the older Need for Speed games, like you could use pursuit breakers while like dropping a donut or something on them. Is there stuff like that in this?
No. It's more or less just kind of a straight driving game, and because it lacks a lot of those mechanics to it, the cops just never go away. They are on your ass forever and for life. So, and you develop a heat meter, much like stars in Grand Theft Auto, and the higher a little heat meter is, the more the cops become assholes, right?
So a la like the heat levels from Carbon and Most Wanted and stuff.
I don't recall Carbon Most Wanted, but
So like
yes, I'll
what
take your
happens
word
was
for it.
like you start off with like normal cops and like like the higher your heat level gets, like the different kind of police units come after you. And like the ones that like the higher your heat level, like the different units, and like they got better cars and better equipment, that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's more like that, but not as refined, I would say. The game feels rushed. It doesn't feel as polished. Coming from EA, it's no real surprise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It feels like I'm more familiar with the more retro ones, the PS1 Need for Speed games, and the
I was going to say I'm
last
more familiar with the PS2 ones, but yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like they were trying to channel the mechanics people liked of the past, but they just didn't execute it very well. Yeah, the daytime's really boring. It just felt tedious. Wasn't into it. And then the whole night, like, it's a neat idea. I definitely see what they were going for. There's just too much missing. Not enough refinement. It's an arcade racer rather than the full sim that Forza and Gran Turismo are. So take that into account if you're a driving fan. That's Need for Speed Heat. I don't recommend it. We went over, I think when we first started the cast, not you and me, Jay, of course, but a bunch of driving games came out in 2017, and it just seems like it's a genre of days past, and no one can really nail what makes them special anymore.
I still like the Horizon games. I will say that.
Well, were you here when I did my review over Horizon 4?
No, but I think I was watching
Not yet.
Race a Train, which was pretty fun.
Yeah, well, trip down memory lane of Horizon 4. It has 4 good moments and the rest is boring.
I liked it. It was repetitive.
You can race a train, you can race dirt bikes, you can race a Halo aircraft, which was cool. But the tracks were boring, the world was boring. There was no fast travel unless you destroyed it was an open world driving game that didn't let you fast travel unless you drove all the way around the open world knocking down billboards.
You could pay for fast travel. It wasn't like
you certainly could shell out money for a mechanic in the game.
It certainly wasn't all that expensive though.
It was hot shit. They shouldn't charge that in the first place.
Look, I didn't hate it as much as you did, okay?
Yeah. I don't like egregious predatory mechanics in my games.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's a huge black mark and it makes me immediately hate so much of it.
Fair enough. So, dude,
you could waste your time by having this mechanic that should exist without you paying for it, but shell out $5. Like, oh, fuck off.
But that's the thing, though. Like, if you're using in-game currency and you don't have to buy in-game currency with real cash, is it really a flaw in the game?
Could you use in-game currency?
Yeah, you could use in-game currency. Like, you knock down the billboards.
I remember you could use in-game currency to show you where the billboards were.
Yeah, no. So, I never did that. You'd pay for fast travel with in-game currency that you would win from the races. Like, you didn't have to,
that, yeah. You could do that, but you had to buy a house first.
No, you didn't, did you?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, but you bought the house as part of the story. Like, you got enough money for the house and stuff.
I beat the game and I didn't buy a single house because it was too much in-game currency money.
I didn't have that problem. It turns out maybe I'm just a better driver than you.
This has turned into a Forza Horizon 4 review instead of Need for Speed Heat.
Well, they're similar. They both have cars and going fast.
Yeah, well, Need for Speed Heat's not that interesting. At least there was something to talk about in Horizon 4. Well, I will say this much. I never felt compelled to ever get first in Horizon 4.
Did you win Heat?
No.
Did you have trouble?
I was more or less just bored most of the time. 4? Excuse me?
I said, did you have trouble getting first in Horizon 4?
No, I just didn't care.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because you could just keep going and it didn't matter.
Yeah, fair enough. The only races you really did need to win was those showcase ones.
Well, no, you just had to finish in a certain time. You didn't have to actually beat the train or anything.
I thought you did, because I always beat them.
You can look at my stream.
Nah.
Yeah, you just had to quote unquote survive or beat a certain time. So yeah, or did you?
No, I'm pretty sure you had to beat the showcase ones because it unlocked the next thing of competition.
You're right. You're right. It's coming back to me.
Yeah. Just like Shenmue 3 is coming back to you. Would you like to tell me about a game that has been 10 years in the making that fell straight on its face?
Was it 10 years? I think it was 4 at least, right?
No. I'm talking from the
2015, right? Isn't that when it was announced?
Yeah, no, I'm talking since Shenmue 2.
Oh, Shenmue 2, it's been 19 years.
Well, 10 years, 19 years, what's the difference? This,
2 decades?
well, someone's being specific and anal, aren't they? Listen, we know that when a game franchise goes on hiatus and then comes back, a la Duke Nukem, that it's just going to be perfect perfection and not of its time period
Obviously.
at all.
So, how familiar are you with the first 2 Shenmue games, Jay?
I'm not going to lie to you. I have never played them.
Okay, well that's fair, because the first one came out on the Dreamcast, which totally a lot of people bought, and totally a lot of people have in the year 2019.
I know at least one person that does.
Yeah, me. And then the second one, if you didn't live in Japan, came out on the Xbox, the original, which totally so many people have the original Xbox and Shenmue 2.
You can play Xbox games on the 360.
I don't think Shenmue 2 is compatible.
No. The 360 was compatible with everything.
Was it? I thought there was certain games that didn't work.
No, that was the Xbox One.
Oh, okay. Well, luckily, if you don't have those 2 retro things, you could have bought the not so good remastered port, and I'll use the word remastered very lightly, of Shenmue 1 and 2, so you can get caught up with the whole story and realize that a lot of the game mechanics are dull as fuck.
Which I almost did, and then I played Yakuza.
Ah, well that would have been a smart decision. And that was a smart decision. So I'm a fan of Shenmue 1 and 2. I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore fan or anything. I'm not in love with the titles. I just really... I in terms of, like, retro gaming, you totally get what was innovative about them. You know, that this is, like, Shenmue is why we have the Yakuza series, as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, when Shenmue 3 was announced, I was like, great, more Yakuza, right? It's going to be Shenmue in the Yakuza engine or something, right?
Uh-huh.
No, the original designer, whatever his name is, Yuji? I think it's Yuji. Well, you know what? For the sake of the cast, we'll call him Yuji Nagata. And so Yuji Nagata had this amazing idea. Okay, we got all this money. We got like $3 million on Kickstarter, plus another X amount of $1 million from PlayStation. We'll totally promise everyone it's coming out on Steam, and then we say, middle finger, it's coming out on the Epic Game Store instead for exclusivity. We're going to charge full $60, but it's not going to be a game that came out in 2019, or 2018, or 2017. Mm-hmm. It's going to look like a game that came out in 2001. And it's going to play like a game that came out in 2001, with slightly better graphics that you might be able to pass off as a PS3 title. Does this sound like a game for you?
Yes.
Only if you are a super hardcore Shenmue fan and you wanted it to stay as faithful as possible to, I guess, that era of game that it came out in. So, with that in mind, I still don't like this game, right? Because there's a lot of time-wasting mechanics, which is a major gripe that gamers have with the Shenmue series. The fighting is very archaic. Like, there's no reason to have a lot of these mechanics be as archaic as they were, right? Or, yeah, were in the game. Like, when Yakuza exists, right? And there will be a lot of comparisons to Yakuza for Shenmue 3, because it's very warranted. Yakuza has fighting mechanics, and hitboxes, and combos. Shenmue 3 has, like, none of those things. It's just rock, paper, scissors, flail between kick and punch, and hopefully your level is enough for these certain kicks and punches after you have to waste your time training for them. And I'll get to that in a second. It's quite fascinating that this guy Yuji Nagata had the balls to create a game and come out with this and wonder why it's selling like shit.
Okay. So, with Yuji Nagata making this game, I need to ask a question.
Okay.
How much of it is blue?
There's a lot of blue skies in the world. It's not as dreary. You go to China, so that's pretty red. So that's not blue.
And is there much justice?
There's not much justice in China, and he does not get revenge on his father. For his father. So there's not even red justice.
I'm hoping someone gets that joke. I really am.
Yeah. I hope so. Yeah. It's definitely for a certain crowd.
Sure.
Anyways. With all of its flaws, let me talk about, okay. So you have to train styles. So in Yakuza you have crane style, you have flamingo style, you have tiger style, whatever. You have all these styles.
In Kiwama you have like dash, thug. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay. So just imagine, Jay, in order to learn dash technique, instead of doing like a quick tutorial, press the square button, ooh, that's dash, right? Or press up and that'll change into dash mode. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Imagine instead of that, you have to stand in front of a wooden, like, martial arts log, rotate the controller to make your character go around the log over and over again for minutes on end. And you have to keep doing that to level up. And then, and only then, will you be able to master dash technique.
JD, I prefer the Yakuza approach of throw money at it.
Yes. That would be the preferred way for any game in not 2001 or in any game ever to teach you how to fight.
Imagine if in like Grand Theft Auto, dude, you had to like learn how to shoot a gun at the shooting range before you could use it. Now,
that would be a valid comparison.
You need to pull the trigger and aim down the sights.
No. You need to first cock the. I don't know enough about guns. Just forget.
Neither do I.
But you get where I was going. You have to cock this. You have to pull this apart. We're going to teach you how to clean the gun because you must respect the gun. Then you have to go to a shooting range and shoot all the targets in a specific order. If you mess up once, you have to do it all over again.
And don't go swimming because it just won't work.
Yeah. Voice acting sounds like it's straight out of 2001, which I kind of found funny. I don't know. Obviously, all this is on purpose. They made it this way on purpose. So I found the voice acting quite hilariously terrible. So it's really funny to stream.
Did they at least get the original cast back?
Oh, I didn't look into it that far. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because it's so bad you wouldn't be able to tell anyways.
Ryu still from Yakuza 2. Sorry, not Yakuza 2. From Shenmue 2 into Shenmue 3 and be like, whoa, this is like a direct sequel?
Well, it is a direct sequel.
Yeah, but like after a game franchise has been away for that many years, like sometimes they miss the beat.
Well, sure. So Ryu still says "I see" over and over and over again. So anything that could have been improved upon, they didn't. Right? Like, I swear, if they could have made the graphics worse, they would have.
They just literally dress up Ryu as a potato.
Yeah. I know the voice actor. I did read a story that the voice actors they did get had to record in Japan at the specific studio during their specific hours. So they had to pay them a lot of money to be there. So, like, the way these people just threw the money around is quite egregious, right?
Well,
that's in the making of the game.
That's clearly where the fan funding went.
Yeah, I mean it's bad. Then they came out and charged you $60 for it. Like, it's at best a $15 game. Like, if you want to continue the Shenmue story, then like $10-15, I could see this game being like, yeah, fine. If it's that price for this kind of quality, sure. But it's not. It came out at $60. What got me the most Like, wasn't all these gripes I had and felt like my time was being wasted, and why is this in the game? Why are there so many quick time events, even though this was the franchise that pretty much started it all, right? Or it was involved with it.
Right.
The story goes like nowhere. There's not really any forward movement in the story that you waited 19 years to happen. You'd think there'd be like, okay, think about it this way. If you are a hardcore Shenmue fan, right, Jay? No.
Right.
Here, I'll compare it to Yakuza again. Imagine you've played Yakuza 0, 1 through 5, and then Song of Life comes out, right? 19 years later. Okay? You've waited all this time for the Kiryu conclusion, okay? But instead, you just get Kiryu, like, nothing happens. It's just a 6th game. That's all it is. There's no conclusion with Kiryu. And there's no prospect knowing that the 7th one will come out.
That'd piss me off.
Exactly. That's what pisses me off the most when it was all said and done. I was like, I waited 19 years for Shenmue 3, and I don't get any sort of conclusion or wrapping up of an arc or anything. It's gross.
You don't understand, dude. Like, when they put out Shenmue 4 on the PlayStation 7, you'll be fine.
No, this game's not selling well enough to get a sequel. There's no way. And I'm not waiting another 19 years. Like, this is a slap in the face to fans. This is a slap in the face to anyone who bought the game. I hate it, right? Because I do see a, like, nostalgic game here.
Did you actually buy it?
No. Not dumb. Yeah. But I did, I go to my video game store here, and that's how I play a lot of these games for the podcast. Right?
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
We should have one of those here.
Well, make a deal. Get a PSVR and let them rent it out.
Man, what if I make the Red Leaf Retrocast game store here, and then like, dude, I can just like let people come in and play games, and like they could pay. Oh no, because that's used pretty much what an internet cafe used to be. Never mind, that went under here. Don't worry.
Yeah, they all did.
So wait, what does yours do differently then?
They do a lot of card game events, big lounge for people to come in and play video games. You pay like $3 and you can just be there all day or something, and they sell drinks and stuff, so they get a lot of money off that. They got to deal with the restaurant next door. Yeah, they do a lot of different things there. It's like more than just a retro game store.
Maybe
yeah,
that's
it's a neat little operation. I hope it stays in business. It's been there since I moved there, so.
How long was it there beforehand?
I don't know.
Is that where you got your copy of NHL 2016?
No, that's when I lived in Canada.
Ah, okay.
God,
That's
what was
a
the name of
reference
that place
to the
called?
Retrocast.
It was J something in like Barrington, outside Toronto. Barrington? Burlington? Burlington sounds like the right answer.
Either that or you're just like mixing the word Berlin with something, but sure.
No. So yeah, Shenmue 3, it's a game I don't recommend, even for Shenmue fans. Wait till that price drops hard, because it will. Like, don't get me wrong, Jay, when this game's like $10-15, I'll get it. Right? Because that's how much it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth anything more than that.
I get you.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
it's a bad game.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, ask me a question, brah.
If you were to play a Dark Souls-esque game with Uncharted and Tomb Raider mechanics, do you think that would be a fun game?
That depends. Are those mechanics good?
I would like to say that I think they are. You, however, would think that they're not.
They're not good.
This is where we're going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Because I get where you're coming from, because like having the whole force push, force slow, force pull thing in this kind of game kind of defeats some of the difficulty in combat.
Yes. What
And
game are we talking about?
we're talking about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
There you go. Don't assume all the listeners know what game we're talking about.
I'm sorry, I thought that was smart.
I don't know. Some of them, I'm sure, bought Shenmue 3.
Well, they came here to hear your opinion on Shenmue 3 to decide whether or not they should buy Shenmue 3. Instead, they should spend their money on a good game, like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Ooh. I don't know. You know what?
All right, so what are your
I am fully aware what I'm going to say over this game will be a bit controversial, so I'll let you go first, Jay.
No. You go first, and then I will bring up my thoughts on it after you, because like we'll piss them off, and then I'll soften the blow.
It's always good to start off with positives, though. You don't want to piss people off, and then they don't care about what you have good to say about it.
Yeah, nah, come on, JD, let's do it my way.
So, I'm playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and like, okay, game takes place right before A New Hope. So you know shit's gonna go wrong in the first place.
So yeah, it's taken place like just after Order 66, like when all the Jedi are supposed to be eradicated.
Sure. I don't know enough about Star Wars lore to care enough. Like I went in. Well, it is a problem, right? If you're not a Star Wars fan, I'm fully convinced that you will see this game more for what it is, rather than it just being Star Wars.
It's entirely possible, but
we were having a conversation over this game before the cast yesterday. In fact, how I'm going. Look, the game's fine. Okay, it's fine. I would rather EA pump out a game like this rather than the Battlefront atrocities that we've seen. Okay?
And Need for Speed.
And the most recent iterations of the Need for Speed series, which was one of my childhood favorite fucking games. Hot Pursuit, high stakes, hell yeah, right?
Yeah.
I know everyone. I fell out of it with fell out of Carbon Underground, but everyone else loved that stuff. So hell yeah, right?
Underground 2, Most Wanted, Carbon, they're my jam.
Yeah, there were a lot of people's jams, and to pump out the bullshit that they're doing now, it's disgraceful to the series. Anyways, Star Wars. So I'm not a Star Wars fanboy. I'm not huge into it. I guess if there's always like, are you a Trekkie or a Star Wars guy? If I had to pick between the two, I definitely prefer Star Trek over Wars. Okay.
I'm the opposite.
Most people are these days. Because Star Trek isn't... Is it still... Yeah, they still make movies. They're still making movies.
Discovery or something?
Yeah. So, I'm like, okay. So the game is Dark Souls maps with the Uncharted grappling elements to it. Okay.
Correct.
Like, okay.
And the Tomb Raider puzzle solving in certain areas.
Well, I mean, Uncharted had that stuff too.
True.
Yeah. So, just for the sake of it, let's just say it's Uncharted, the Uncharted mechanics with the Dark Souls gameplay and map.
Correct.
I saw a review. I read a review that compared the map to Metroid Prime in a lot of ways, and I just don't see it. Maybe it means by how the areas are interconnected to each other. Maybe?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Anyways. So, I'm like, okay, I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I'm not, like, totally into the story, but I get it, right? It's fine. I was kind of questioning why, like, a character will turn bad, and then the main character's acting all sad, and you go, wait, there was no, like, in-between there in the storytelling in the game? So I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird, but, whatever. It's whatever with me. It doesn't, that didn't make me hate or like the game anymore. I was just thinking, okay, things are off. That's normal. And then you get to the gameplay, and all I could think, Jay, was two things. The first thing was Dark Souls does it better. Code Vein does it better. Surge 2 does it better. And like 2 of those games came out this year, right? Just a couple months ago. So I'm like, all right, get what it's going for. It's Star Wars. The Force power, the magic power, more or less breaks a lot of it. It's just like, you could play the game without it, but it gets kind of frustrating and tedious. I tried doing that for a little while, but then it's just spam the Force button, pull them in, stab them, push them off the cliff, over and over again. It really breaks a lot of the difficulty. Because when you do that, you can put the game up to like its highest difficulty level, but once you get to a boss, it's like, you can't do that. So that's now you're... Well, it's like now you're stuck playing the other way, which makes it tedious and frustrating, right? And it's just like any other the Souls type game that people call it. You get to a bonfire-esque thing, you nap, all the enemies you kill come back, reach another area, rinse and repeat. If you die, well, go collect your experience or what have you, whatever the game has, and you get it back if you kill that enemy. You lose it all if you die. Okay, we all know the rules, right? Then you got the action element to it, the platforming, the puzzles with the Uncharted, and I'm just thinking, man, I'm back in Uncharted 1 here. I felt like I was playing PS3 mechanics. So I'm just going, I don't know. EA has, let's see, who? Oh, it was not Treyarch. It's who developed this? It's the Titanfall people, is it not?
I'm not sure. Give me a sec, I'll look it up. Googling stuff live on air. It's always good content. Did you know that it was made by EA and Respawn?
Respawn. Yes, that is the Titanfall people. It's also the Apex Legends people. Yeah.
Which is a game we played and haven't played again.
Yeah, we played it for 2 days. We're like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Yeah, so it's by the Titanfall people who made a really good first-person shooter in Titanfall, right?
Uh-huh.
So they're making a genre, in fact, they're combining 2 genres of something they're not familiar with, right? They are a first-person shooter company, developer.
Uh-huh.
It's like, it's a good developer developing something they're not good at, or not accustomed to. That's probably a better word for it.
Uh-huh.
How many times do we have to see this where the big publisher will get a game developer to make a genre that they've never done before? And then there's a lot of busted up shit in it. In this case, a lot of the AI and action grapple mechanics are just garbage.
Well, I mean, Stormtroopers are supposed to be garbage, dude.
I've seen that excuse quite a lot, but seriously.
It's not really an excuse, it's just kind of fact.
But the excuse of the Stormtrooper not being able to go through a doorway is kind of bullshit.
Well, that I haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, not being able to go through a doorway, there's invisible walls for them, all of a sudden they can't do it, they can't go around another Stormtrooper. If there's a gap in a cliffside, they won't jump over it. Like, it's bad. Like, you can just run through areas like Dark Souls and not fight a single person. You can just push them off. Anyways, I'm repeating myself at this point. The second thing is, I'm fully convinced that if this didn't have the Star Wars title on it, let's just pretend this game was just called The Fallen Order, right?
Okay.
All the Star Wars skins were stripped out, and you were just a dude with a sword, right? Instead of a laser sword.
A space sword.
A space sword. And you're going around the same map, the same mechanics, the same AI. Everything's the same, right? You even have magical mental power, right? You still have that. I'm fully convinced that this game would not be in the Game of the Year conversations and everyone be like, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. Maybe like a 75 out of 100. You know, people will like it, but it's not going to blow anyone's mind. Right?
Right.
Is that crazy to say?
No, but you need to understand it has the Star Wars name attached to it, and therefore it's a 10 out of 10.
Oh, well.
See, look,
I'm glad you think so.
Look, for everything the game does, like, it does have its... Some of the things you just mentioned there, like, I didn't realize. I just think it's really fun, dude, but, like, I'm a Star Wars person.
That's totally fair. I'm just
Like,
saying this is how I feel playing this, because I'm not totally invested in Star Wars itself. I just wanted to play a fun game, and I'm just going, this is okay. But I literally just played 2 other games just like it and better a couple months ago in Code Vein and Surge 2.
Fair enough. See, like, the thing is that, like, it's been since, I think, the Force Unleashed series, since we've had, like, a Star Wars game that's kind of like this, like, that takes place in between certain time periods of the story and trying to flush out this whole thing. And now that the Force Unleashed games are part of the expanded universe and no longer canon, which I'm not sure if they were in the first place. Don't honestly know.
I think because of this game, they're kicked out of it being canon.
Yeah, well, look, I think Fallen Order does what it needs to do well enough for it to be considered a good game. Like, as you said, though, if it didn't have the Star Wars name attached to it, we could be having a different conversation, but that's like a parallel universe.
No, yeah, I admit. I mean, that's not the reality that's in front of me, right? The reality is, it is a Star Wars game. People love Star Wars. Star Wars alone is the factor that makes this game from how I see it as fine to good, right?
True. Like, I'm not saying like
what I can't agree with is people saying this is great, right? There's just too many glaring flaws in gameplay, game mechanics, even the story itself. I could see Star Wars fans just ripping this apart, just being like, "Oh, well, it's kind of a garbage Star Wars story, but it's at least something." That's literally what I've been reading in reviews.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But like I said, I think it's fun. I'm not a huge Dark Souls fan, and like, if this gets me maybe more confidence to go and play Dark Souls, then yeah,
I would recommend Surge 2.
I'm just saying, like, dude, it could be a crossover series where, like, you play this and, like, cool, I want something along this same kind of series, like Surge 2, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, so forth and so on.
This is a good gateway game for that. And I think Surge 2 also falls into that category of, if you're not into the Souls series, if you're not into the punishing difficulty of possibly losing all your shit that you've earned as you walk along maps, sure, this is good. And I do like the difficulty settings that this one has. That was good. That is a very good addition to actually having difficulty settings. If Sekiro had the difficulty settings that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has, Sekiro would be my game of the year. I'm not kidding you. I am not joking you right now. Jay, you hear this voice? I'm not joshing you. Okay.
Nice.
I wouldn't josh you. Your name's Jay.
Exactly. You just need to understand, though, like, friggin', you just need to get better at Sekiro.
It's not as easy as that.
Well, if it was Dark Souls, it would be.
Dark Souls, I could just level up.
Exactly. That was the joke. See, like, as I said, I appreciate what this game does. I think it's fun. I like it. Is it a problem? No. If it was a Star Wars game, would I like it as much? Probably not. But I think it's good. I'm not going to say it's game of the year, but I think it's good.
All right, at least we agree on that, which I'm more than happy to go with.
Also, I think it's a lot of fun being able to customize my own lightsaber, which you could also do in Force Unleashed, and I wish more Star Wars games had that.
You can't really see it, though.
Yeah, but it's more so the crystal, dude.
Kind of a bummer.
There's nothing better than having a purple lightsaber.
You know what would be cool?
Go ahead.
So I was playing more Astral Chain, and the action elements, you press, you time certain buttons, and it creates like this cool little cha-ching, 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 cutscene. Ah, you killed this enemy. Cool. Let's say that as you're slicing and dicing stormtroopers or something, you can activate a, let's say, Mortal Kombat death kill, right?
Well, dude, you're not slicing and dicing stormtroopers because for whatever reason you can't cut humanoids in half.
Ah, see, that's a big problem. That should be an easy thing to put in this game.
Well, so, maybe that would have pushed the rating up higher?
Maybe. So, let's say you could do that, and there's these cool little action close-up scenes or slowdowns, and it zooms in on your custom lightsaber in some of these moments. He does like a flip or something with the lightsaber, cool. And then he cuts an arm off. I think that'd be sweet.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, game doesn't do any of that, though.
No, because it doesn't let you cut humanoids in half.
No.
Because they needed that PG rating.
Yeah. My mic was, like, acting weird there for a second. That's going to be weird to edit later.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm noticing some weird things on my end, too, like with my audio, but it should be fine.
I am going to have to write that down, timestamp that. All right, let's move on. We're going a little long here.
That's fine, because now we get to talk about a game that I liked. I'm assuming you didn't like as much as me, and that's Pokemon.
Well, you'd have to define didn't like as much.
You dropped it after you got the first batch.
I mean, I haven't dropped playing it. I just started playing other games.
So, who was your starter and why was it Grookey?
It was Grookey, because Grookey is the best. I'm playing the game in German, because I like playing video games in German if I can do it. Pokemon always comes through in that.
I suppose it helps you, like, not forget the language.
It does, and it really gets me confused over, like, are these actual words? Sometimes. Pokemon always makes me question that.
So wait, what's Grookey in friggin' German?
Chimsticks.
Oh my god, that is so cool.
Yeah, like chimpanzee with sticks.
Chimsticks. Brilliant.
Or is that the evolved version? Might be the evolved version.
Chimsticks is like, either way, that's a brilliant name. It might be the evolved form because the evolved form has 2 sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the evolved form. I don't remember the original.
Branch Poke is like the best move ever.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Nice.
I know Pumpkin Boo is like Erebus in German, which is... I don't know what that translates to in English, but it's definitely not Spooky Pumpkin or something.
What was like friggin' Wooloo?
I don't recall.
That's the sheep thing.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Okay.
The names are tough.
So, it's your classic Pokemon story where you get kicked out of their house at 10 years old and go on a magical adventure by stealing a Pokemon. Except this time you're not kicked out of the house, you're encouraged to leave and given a Pokemon.
True.
By the champion.
Yeah.
Who you're
by
eventually...
a champion, right?
By the champion, yes.
In that region.
Yes. And in this region, Pokemon is a sporting event because they have unlocked an ability to make Pokemon get very big.
Yeah, Giganticism or whatever. It's Gigamax.
Gigamax, Gigantamax, Dynamax, same thing, different name.
Yeah.
And
they digivolve.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Mega Evolution with a time frame.
Yeah.
Mega Evolution with the timer. Like 3 rounds.
I gotta say, not a fan.
Not a fan of the Dynamaxing?
I am not.
I just wish I'd bring back Mega Evolution, to be completely honest with you.
You know, I'm not a fan of that either, but it is definitely better than what we're getting here.
Yeah, like, see, the Mega Evolution thing, like, the way they tried to explain it, like, with the ultimate weapon and, like, the alternate timelines and that sort of thing, at least they tried to make that make sense, whereas in, like, this, it's just, like, a phenomenon.
Yeah, it's just part of the island's, like, Stonehenge bullshit. Yeah.
Yep. And, like, certain Pokemon can, like, essentially giant Mega Evolve like Charizard and
Yeah.
Magikarp, which just I don't know why Magikarp can friggin' Gigantamax, but sure.
That is really funny, I will admit.
Have you seen
Big
the Snorlax
floppy
one?
fucking fish just on the side, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the Snorlax one where like it's got a friggin' town and stuff on its gut?
No, I haven't gotten that far.
No, like it's just been released in like the last week or so in like raid battles.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Because they're like friggin' weekly or monthly or whatever, they're releasing like new Gigantamax Pokemon into raid battles because they haven't released them all at the start. And Sword and Shield like will end up with different exclusive Pokemon from those Gigantamax raids and that sort of thing.
Okay, I see.
You know, the classic way of grabbing money from people.
Right.
So, what did you think of the couple of like mechanics that they've sort of changed? Like the Pokemon that you now encounter in the overworld, you can see and you can avoid them if you wish, but you can also still get random encounters if you choose to stop and check what attacked you from the grass.
I like that. That also has created some awesome memes of the Pokemon spotting you and the character kind of going and you walking away from the character. Or the character's walking away from the Pokemon or running away.
Yeah, well, dude, some of those things like sprint at you and it's like, get the F away from me.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of the game when you're a low level going through those areas and you see the large, like, level 28 Onyx come at you and you're like, no!
A very strong looking Onyx has appeared. How strong? Oh my god, that is strong.
Yeah. So I do like that. That is a very welcome and, let's be honest, needed thing at this level in the game, right?
That just makes sense because like you can't always assume that like for every like level 2 Pidgey there's going to be like a level 3 Rattata. Like honestly, there might be a level 47 Pidgeot around, which is the parent of the Pidgeys.
Right.
It just makes sense.
You know what it also reminded me of a bit was Xenoblade Chronicles 2 when you go into that when you get into the first area of the world and there's that giant like level 86 motherfucker that can one hit kill you.
Yeah, it also had elements like this in the Outer Worlds as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I totally like it, but in terms of Pokemon, I do like it because your character is fast enough to get out of the way.
Not always.
Not always, but he is fast enough.
True.
Right?
When you get the bike, it's fairly easy.
Yeah, well. So, it's a little spoiler for the next cast, but we're going to be covering Yokai Watch 3.
I'm pretty excited. I do like Yokai Watch. Still trying to find a copy of it because I'm not going to buy it digitally because I'm an asshole, but very excited.
Look, Jay, I'm 100% with you on that, but I had to have it, and digitally is like the only way to get it because it's a rare game, even though it came out this year.
Yeah, look, I'm not giving up hope. I'm going to find it somewhere. Somehow, I'm going to get this game on card, and then it will sit in its packaging, whatever, with Yokai Watch 1 and Yokai Watch 2.
So, we're going to do a little comparison here. I'm not going to spoil a whole lot on Yokai Watch 3, but you'll get the general idea of where I'm going with this.
Well, we can't really spoil a whole lot in Pokemon because it's a Pokemon game, so, you know.
It is. Well, that's the problem. It's a Pokemon game, so you know exactly the game you're getting.
Oh, hey,
right?
one little friggin' annoyance that I had, right, very quickly here. After you beat the gym leaders, right, you unlock their quote-unquote uniform. And, like, when you go into a gym battle, like, you've got to dress up in the sports uniform, right?
Sure.
I think that if you purchase the type uniforms, or, like, once you've unlocked the ones after beating a gym leader, you should have the options to dress up as, like, that type of trainer. Or, like, you should be able to mix and match different elements from the different uniforms to make your own custom uniform.
Absolutely, you should.
But you can't, and you've got to use the crappy friggin' standard one for each battle.
Yeah, because the game's an asshole.
Pretty much.
So, my biggest... So, let me say this right away. This game is still, at the end of the day, a fun Pokemon game.
Agreed. Okay? It doesn't break the mold, though.
That's a huge problem with me. And that's why I'm, like, not... It's not on my front list of games to play right now. Games on my front list to play right now are the ones that I feel compelled to beat and play something new, right?
You know,
because I do, Jay, you know me, I do the retro gaming podcast. I play old shit all the time. I beat those games on the cast. I haven't played those games in years. Some of them are new, some of them are old news, or new to me. Then Pokemon Sword Shield comes out, and I go, okay, I'm always down for a Pokemon game. It's the first one. It's the first, like, quote unquote one on console mainline, right?
Yeah, like if you're not gonna, mainline games. So we always had like Stadium, Coliseum, Gala Darkness.
Oh, there's plenty of games. Game Freak has plenty of experience making a Pokemon game on console. Okay,
correct.
So with everything I've seen on the game, and I'm just going, I'll get it because it's Nintendo, so the game's not going to go down in price anyways, right? Maybe in like 2 years on a Black Friday, or it might be 40% off, but that's still like $40.
Right.
The game's mechanics haven't changed. There's nothing innovative. It's everything down to basically how you start. There's a little difference. Ooh, you get to see the legendary in the forest. Okay, cool. Cool moment, but that's all you get, right? We've been getting some sort of legendary look for generations. The gameplay is still the exact same. There's no animations in the game, which I was shocked to not see, technically. Which I couldn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same animations that we've seen for, 15 years? Basically?
Mm-hmm.
When the Pokemon evolve, it goes to that same side screen situation. Doot, 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 boo! Instead of, in the battle, you see them level up. They evolve right then and there. There's no character dialogue. There's just so many easy things that could have been done to improve the game. And Game Freak just said, it's almost like they went, hey, Bob, they're going to fucking buy this shit no matter what.
Jedi.
Should we even bother?
Jedi, I need to make a very important detour.
Okay.
For Wrestle Kingdom 2, we're getting Session Moth Martina versus Maki Ito.
Wrestle Kingdom 3?
Sorry, yes, Wrestle Kingdom 3 in January.
Wait, Wrestle Kingdom in January?
Yes, January 11th, and Wrestle Kingdom 3, Session Moth Martina versus Maki Ito.
That's weird. It's usually in the summer.
Well, it's happening in January.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be cool. Good comedy match.
Dude, awesome.
Yeah. And then I'm playing Yokai Watch 3. And I've played 1, which is very much kind of like Pokemon. A little bit more story.
2, did you?
No, I skipped 2.
That 2 improved on the elements of 1 that needs to be improved on, and then told a coherent story.
Alright. Then 3, they're, it doesn't feel like, it still feels like Yokai Watch, but everything's different about it at the same time.
It's like on a grid now, isn't it? Kind of like friggin' Fractured Butthole.
There's a grid, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, but it still plays the same way. So you still feel like you're playing Yokai Watch. But there's so many things different about it that, yes, this is in fact, a new game. What can I say that's truly new about Pokemon Sword and Shield?
They get big.
Well, no, because we've seen that before.
Okay, there's raid battles.
There is a raid battle thing, but that's kind of game breaking in itself. Because I was at the beginning and I went into a raid that you could play with computer. Those are easy to beat, and then I have now a level 28 Diglett penis when I'm still at level 10 with everything.
So you're going to use your Diglett in your adventure?
Of course I was using the big penis in my adventure.
Good boy.
Yeah. You know what was stupid? I will say this. Well, this was real stupid in the game. You can encounter the high-level Pokemon, but you're not allowed to catch them.
Yes, because you don't have a badge that allows them to friggin' be caught or some crap. At least there's a gameplay reason as to why.
That's dumb. And here's why.
Look, I feel like
past...
I don't know, I was gonna say, like, I feel like if I have the balls to take on something that is going to one hit kill everything in my team, and I manage to successfully catch it, I should be able to use it.
Yeah. And if you don't have the badge or respect level, because that was kind of the thing in the past, then the Pokemon just wouldn't listen to you, right?
Well,
you could still catch it.
No, because like anything you caught, regardless of level in previous Pokemon games, would listen to you. Anything that was traded that was at a higher level than the badge allowed you to obey wouldn't. And it would like loaf around, fall
I
asleep,
remember
use
in the
different
very
attacks.
early ones that the Pokemon would skip moves and whatnot.
Yeah, that was if it was
until
traded
got...
to you.
No,
It was
I believe it was in the first or second gen that.
not that I remember, and I've
Yeah.
recently done a ridiculous challenge in Pokemon Crystal.
Okay.
So it might be in Gen 1, but for safety's sake, I'm going to double down on what I've said and say that it's only traded Pokemon.
But you do agree in this Sword and Shield that you're just not allowed to catch it, which is stupid.
It is. Sorry about that.
But you go into Raid and it's now totally okay. It's kind of contradicting its own rules.
It is a little bit, yeah.
It's so archaic, and I don't know, very disappointing, you know? You feel me?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I still enjoyed it. I like Pokemon. I'm simple to please. I see Pokemon, I'm happy.
But when are we ever going to get this sort of evolution in the game?
Probably not for the main series stuff. If you want that kind of evolution stuff, the side story things is where you're going to get that, like with your Pokemon Ranger, with your Gale of Darkness, with that sort of thing.
I don't know. I thought after like 20 years, and this is coming on Nintendo Switch, that I expect, this is kind of the Shenmue 3 thing. It's kind of that same argument, right?
True,
why are you making a game in 2019 that looks like it could come out 15 years ago? Or longer in this case.
No, that's a valid point. But I will say, like, Pokemon at this point has a formula and they're sticking with it, whereas Shenmue had that much time off. They could have innovated and changed parts of the thing.
It's very true. That is a valid point.
See, like, people know what they're getting into with the main series Pokemon game.
There's going to be a time when that formula, you're going to lose, because right now, like, people you and I's age grew up with Pokemon, and the nostalgia factor is heavily there. And we still play them, right?
Correct.
But the older we get, the less we're going to play, because we're like, well, I already played the game. That's when the question comes up, kind of like WWE fans today. Do they keep just recycling the young fans? Right? This is what we're seeing now. Are they recycling the young fans enough where they replace the teenagers that stop watching? And clearly they're not, right? Because most of the audience is 50 plus, or they're small children, right? I feel like this game that we just saw on Nintendo Switch is going to kickstart that pattern, right? You'll get like one or two more Pokemon games with not much innovation to it. Then that third one hits, bam, no more Pokemon kind of situation. I'm not saying that the franchise would totally disappear, because it's one of the most beloved and profitable franchises ever. I just see that pattern kind of starting to happen. If
they need to take
hasn't
time
already
off
started in the first place.
Maybe they need to, like... All right. I would say Game Freak needs to develop another game, but they've already done that recently. Maybe they need to take some time off and take a break and re-picture everything like Assassin's Creed's kind of done.
Well, they do. They come out with a Pokemon game for 4 years, right? They take a lot of time to make these, but what they concentrate on aren't the things that they need to improve. The formula's already there, right? There hasn't been any. They feel their formula is perfect, and there's a good argument to that. Just like Yokai Watch, their battle formula is basically like perfect already. But how can they tweak it and maybe do a story out of it? You know, there's no innovation in anything else in the game. You're still going, I'm gonna go to this badge, get this one. I got 7 more to go. Then I'll face the big boss. There's a evil villain group or groupies or whatever. Like that hasn't gone anywhere. It's still the same thing every gen.
Yeah, okay, point taken.
Yeah. Like instead of just top of my head, instead of 8 badges, you're a character who's only got like 2 badges to get, and then there's a fucking like volcanic Pokemon that's wreaking freaking havoc, and it's got other Pokemon around it. You gotta beat them. You know, do a little different story to it. And then maybe we wouldn't get a game every 4 years. We could get a game every 2 years. Or
okay, so they kind of try something like that, like you just mentioned, like this Pokemon wreaking havoc in the post game of Sword and Shield, because like there's a point in there where like all of a sudden random things can start Dynamaxing and like causing havoc in towns.
Yeah. Well, I remember they did something kind of like that in. It was with the big centipede one. You know what I'm talking about? The interdimensional stuff?
Friggin', yeah, the Ultra Base and bloody Sun and Moon.
You know, integrate that into the story, but it's still got to collect this badge, got to go there. I don't know. I'm just shooting off the cuff here with these ideas. You know, who knows? Wouldn't work out. What have they done? Game Freak's has all these side games, like you said. Maybe there just needs to be a bigger focus on it all. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I know,
right.
Unfortunately, I'm in that friggin' market that, like, next friggin' generation, they'll announce something and I'll be like, cool, here's $60.
Here you go. Take my money. I know the drill.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm the worst. I know this already.
Nah. Dude, Pokemon's popular. I already admitted that the game is still super fun. Like, there's no denying it. It's just very archaic still. It still looks and feels like a game that came out 15 plus years ago.
Yep.
It's the opposite effect of Shenmue 3. Alright, Death Stranding.
It's a walking simulator.
It is not, Jay. It is an emotional journey with some fucked up shit.
And a lot of walking.
There's a lot of walking.
And a motorbike.
Egregious amount of walking. Kojima Productions, Death Stranding, the big game of the month. The month that my mother and I will be talking about once Jay and I are done here.
Yep. Look, here's the thing. I watched you play it for about an hour. I saw a lot of cutscenes. I saw a lot of walking. I saw your mum do some interesting camera angles. She
is not the best at.
Don't think.
No. As she put it, it was her artistic. it was her artistic abilities coming out to play.
Pretty much. Look, I don't think this is a game for me, and I feel
it is not a game for most people.
I feel, to touch back on the Star Wars thing here for a second, if Kojima's name was not attached to this, I don't think it would have sold.
I don't think so either. Now, does you know what Death Stranding is? You remember how when we reviewed Control and you said you played a couple hours of it and you weren't into it and you thought I probably should have given it more time or whatever, and I said, no, if it didn't hook you, that's the game's fault.
Right.
right? Period.
Mm-hmm.
If a game doesn't work for you, I don't care. Look, I'm of the mind that if you got to give a game like an hour or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't get you in that hour or two, then it's not for you. If you have to put it down after like 30 minutes because the game's shit, that's totally fair as well. Like, I don't expect you to play like Bubsy 3D like we did for the podcast recently, the Retro Gaming podcast.
I think you're the only one that may have played that game.
No. Oh, no. Joey played it too, and he's like, I played that fucking thing for 10 minutes and I was done. I was like, that makes sense, because the game is horrid and you know it in 10 minutes. You just look at it and you go, no.
Yep.
My mom playing Death Stranding didn't like this game in like immediately. She didn't even like the cutscenes. Not really.
Fair enough.
She's like, I don't know what's happening. The game's not telling me anything.
That's kind of what Kojima does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of vocabulary. Okay, so you are Sam Bridges, a delivery man, and in this world, everyone has names connected to their job title, like old school Germany in pre-medieval times.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of German verbiage in this game, which makes sense to me just because I know German. And that's how words are stemmed. But anyways, the world has ended because people die and explode and go and interconnect this death world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin and I went into a big convo on it on one of the I think the last two retro gaming podcasts. So I'll just make this short and sweet. So the world's basically over. It's apocalyptic. You have to rebuild America. And Sam's sister, who can't age for reasons, has been taken capture by a rebel group, and you have to connect America through these cities in between on your way to rescue the sister. Follow me so far?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the way the game presents the story is utterly confusing. Because it tells you none of this. It just, everything happens, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there's spooky invisible creatures that are connected to the death world, as I'll call it. And for reasons unknown, people that are brought back to life are now, they have an ability to be able to see them, sense them, or, whatever. There's levels to it.
Mm-hmm.
And those people are usually delivery men, because they can actually venture out into the world rather than be confined to a city. Okay? That's where Sam Bridges comes in. He delivers shit to connect the towns, and there you go, right? So the first 7 to 10 hours or longer, depending on if you feel like doing the side missions, which aren't pertinent to the story, but the game kind of wants you to do them, but there's no real incentive to it all. There are certain items that are unlocked through certain side missions or getting certain items together, but you kind of know what those are, so I do commend the game for that, because I played what's a good example? You know what? Nier Automata. A great game, but you don't know what side missions are more or less relevant and which ones are just kind of waste my time kind of situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that with Death Stranding. I felt certain side missions were clearly more obvious to be important than others. So,
right.
Kudos to that. That was good design.
Right.
The bad design is the making the walking itself be a challenge. But how else are you going to make delivering shit challenging unless you go, okay, you might fall in the water, balancing is tough. Blood and endurance levels, all these mechanics make sense. However, they're more or less irritating and annoying. They're not really fun, especially for a lot of people. Like, I see it, I get it. I don't find it taxing at all. But my biggest gripe is definitely the whole time-wasting element. I felt like my time was being wasted for a lot of it.
And yet you're still playing.
Well, for the podcast, I stopped before I got into Chapter 3. I haven't played it since, because I played 10 hours of this fucking game, and I felt like I have accomplished nothing. Right?
Do you know how to walk?
I know how to walk. The easiest way is just to hold the triggers down, and you're totally balanced forever. You just go slow. So I'm like, that was annoying, but I was like, well, it's either I do this, or I stumble around and lose shit all the time, and then they're damaged, and then I have to worry about that, but it's not really a big deal unless I permanently damage the equipment, and etc., etc. The idea of avoiding the Black Death creatures it's a really cool stealth element to it. You gotta hold your breath. But there's no, like, real consequence to it other than they attack you and you run away temporarily. Dude, my mom ran up a mountain and broke the game escaping these things. So I'm like, well, no consequence, clearly.
Nice.
So if my mom can beat it, then anybody can.
And that's the review of Death Stranding. Stick around for Jade and his mum talking about Death Stranding.
Yeah, we're not done here. Yeah. There's a lot of goofy shit in the game that, like, it's supposed to be a serious game, then there's a lot of goofy shit like product placement, like drinking Monster, stripping in your little cubicle hut, and then going to the restroom. You're using your actual urine and feces to have their weapons in the game,
Ew.
which you get a good laugh out of it, at least.
Mm.
Semi-homoerotic moments between Guillermo del Toro and what's-his-face from The Walking Dead.
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus, thank you.
Yeah.
This game's weird, man.
Yep. Alright. Well,
What'd you get out of it?
I watched people walk around and I don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, people say, Colin specifically, talking to him about it, he really likes the game. He's a fan. Like, in a weird way, it's relaxing. But if you're more of an action-oriented guy, this game is not for you. Is it Game of the Year? Well, I mean,
No.
We'll get into it more on the Game of the Year cast. I can tell you now, it's not making it. Like, it's just too divisive. And if you think it's an artful game, like, power to you, but shit. Right, Jay?
Right.
Right. Okay.
So,
Alright.
I think that covers everything, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So, just to run down the list of what we're covering for games we missed in as the December cast. Yokai Watch 3, Sukiyaki, Void Bastards from May, Outer Wilds from May, Oxygen is not included, July, Sunless Skies from August, and finally Untitled Goose Game from September.
Honk.
Jay, another great cast. See you next time, buddy.
Alright. Peace out, guys. Thanks for listening. Now on to JD and his mum talking Death Stranding.
Mom, we're back for another month. November has passed. We have played another game.
Another torturous game.
Oh.
I had to play the game this time, which I don't play very well, as you saw.
Yes, so we live streamed you playing Death Stranding.
Trying to play.
Played the prologue and episode 1, and you saw briefly the cutscenes starting up episode 2. of Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a Hideo Kojima game. I made the Metal Gear Solid series, if you're not familiar with that.
Obviously not.
Okay. Like I said, building up to this is a weird game.
It's different. I will say that. Very slow. It's very slow in the beginning. I don't know when it's supposed to get better, but the first 2 parts were very slow.
And how long did we play this for?
How much torture?
Yeah.
Did we play this for?
Yes.
Too long. That's all I know. Too long.
Well, I know you were starting to ask when does this game get good after about 40 minutes?
Right.
You just went, oh, this is awful.
Yes.
So I have to ask
It
the
was
question.
slow. It was just slow.
So I have to ask the question
Go
now.
ahead, ask the question.
Could you explain the story to me of your understanding from start to the point where we played?
No.
Could you try, please?
No. I don't want to. I don't like the game.
Attempt.
I can't.
Why not?
Because it was so slow, I lost consciousness.
Humor me.
So we start out. See, I don't even know where we started. It was very slow. I'm sorry. It was just.
You have zero recollection of the 2 hours that you just played less than an hour ago.
All I know is that there's these black things that hang from the sky
Okay.
and eats people.
Okay. Go on.
And there's some baby thing.
Okay. See, keep going.
There's some baby thing.
You made it seem like you have
that
Alzheimer's and totally forgot everything.
I want to forget it. And there's some baby thing that people connect to.
Okay.
That apparently can feel these or give images to the people who wear them.
Mm-hmm.
That they're out there.
Right. Who's the main character and what does he do?
Porter
Okay.
transports dead people.
That was one of his jobs, yeah.
Right.
He's a transporter.
He's a transporter.
Delivery man. Yeah.
Delivery man of dead things.
Okay.
Dead people.
Well, it's really just anything that needs to be delivered. That particular job was
to go into the incinerator.
to go to the incinerator to burn his mother.
Well, burn up the dead mom.
Right. And what happens if
Because
you don't...
because if you don't, then a big crater evolves and you get blown up.
Okay, more or less. Sure.
More or less.
Yeah. We got some cool cutscenes, lots of cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
How much gameplay did you think we did in about 2 hours?
In 2 hours?
Like actual doing something.
Oh my gosh.
The controller not sitting down, basically.
In the 2 hours, probably 30 minutes, maybe. Tops.
Maybe.
Tops.
I mean, people on stream got to see you experience a 3-dimensional camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of walking.
Well,
I did climb.
you did. Okay, so there were 2 things that were really funny. Okay. When you first control the game and you have to find a cave to take shelter in from the acid rain. Okay? They call it timefall in the game. I was trying to guide you, give you an explanation of, hey, look at your surroundings. Where do you think you gotta go? The rain is bad. Where do you go when it's raining? You find shelter, okay? You're out in the middle of nowhere. What do you think you gotta find? Like trees, a cave, or something? You proceed to go, oh, I'll go forward and you jump right off the cliff and die.
Well, and that's why I told you I'm very bad at games. That's why I like to watch them. I certainly can watch them and enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was so slow that, I mean, yes, I had to pick the easy because I'm not
very easy.
good at getting, yes, very easy. So, which was nice. At least that part of the game has, I don't even know if it's a game because it doesn't feel like a game. A game is when I'm playing pinball.
Okay, that's a good example of a game. Yes, I agree.
This was not a game. This was a movie, and you could be interactive in the movie.
Okay,
that's how I perceived that, and it was very slow. But I couldn't even see this as a movie because it's so slow.
The second funny part was near the end of the stream when you encounter what they call BTs, the black creatures as you described them, and you're supposed to sneak past them. Okay, use the baby thing, the bridge baby, to see them, crouch and sneak past them. Well, you decided to just go forward
because that's what I'm good at.
And I'm trying to tell you on the stream, okay, blue means good, orange means bad. When you see the orange...
I don't even know what you were talking about, blue and orange.
You asked the question because you're the thing going zoop, 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 zoop on your shoulder. You asked me right then and there, and I go, oh, well, it turns blue, it's good, orange is bad, you stop. And you're supposed to let them kind of walk around, and then you sneak past them. You went...
Well, being unfamiliar with these things... Even I may ask you these questions, but I don't.
You weren't listening.
Correct.
You weren't listening or doing any of that. You just went forward. The black creature, of course.
Away.
The black creature.
I'm running away.
Right in front of you, just goes. There she is. Bang, caught you. And then the black octopus thing, the Cthulhu.
Well, what it looked like to me was a black oil.
Oil.
It reminded me of oil. Black oil.
Yeah, black oil, and the whale, it's coming at you. It's got its tentacles coming out, and you should have two options. Go left or right around the mountainside. A normal person would do that. You went up the mountain.
I got away.
Basically breaking the game a little bit. Finding just the very stubborn.
But it let me
X, all the way up, and then eventually, and you see the black creature like spewing goop at you. It's coming after you, and then eventually you got so high, the game just kind of gave up, and it's like you succeeded, I guess. So then you just went.
I did really good.
Then you went around and proceeded to fall down the mountain, tripping, stumbling. There's ladders. You just went nope over cliff sides. So at least that was entertaining.
Well, I won.
You made your own entertainment of the game you didn't like.
I got to freedom.
You did.
And the black thing didn't get me.
No, it did not. You did not die.
And the game didn't let me die.
And the game didn't... No, so when you die, you are in this, like, camera projection thing, and you have to go back to the body that's floating in water.
Yeah, and how would you know that?
Well, it was saying in the extremely small text you can't read.
Oh, the one that
It says, you are repatriate, you can go back to your body and come back to life. That's what it said.
Gotcha.
But you weren't reading that. The text is small.
Yeah, I
will
see it.
I will admit that it's bad.
It was
the game's horrible for the small text. A lot of games are doing that lately, actually. I've had that critique with a number of games just this year.
Why are they
I'm like,
doing
man,
that?
why isn't the text bigger?
Yeah.
It's so aggravating.
It is.
We're not far from the TV at all.
No, we are.
And I'm still going, okay, now I can. I'm still leaning forward.
Yeah.
And I can't
Trying
read
to
it.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I can't play with my glasses on because I have to look under my glasses then to see, what I'm supposed to do. And even if I had my glasses on, I couldn't see that text.
No, it's too small.
It's too small.
But what you experienced in the game right there, I played the game 10 hours. I got through chapter 2, which is another 6 hours.
Good Lord.
I'm not kidding you when I describe what that entire chapter is. You go from one city to the other, putting stuff on your back, walking to the destination, walk to another destination with another thing on your back, walk back. You get a bike that can't go anywhere because the ground doesn't have roads or anything built.
Yeah.
Follow me so far?
Yeah.
You get to a port town, after you've spent 6 hours, 8 hours just going back and forth walking. Then you get to the port town. So you remember the scene.
So it's really no different than the big.
That's why I said we can stop right there.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
You remember the when you first get the bridge baby and you're supposed to burn the first body because it's gonna explode.
Yeah.
The dude that kind of falls on top of the car, it points, and he's like kind of a spooky dude, and then he disappears.
Yeah.
So he shows up at the end of chapter 2, and he says cryptic stuff about this and that, and then he summons the goopy black whale things, and then you fight the goopy black whale with. There's a funny little weapon I use where Norman Reedus poops and pees, and you throw that like a vial of his excrement at the goopy creature, and
what?
because he's come back from the dead or whatever, his blood.
This is Porter.
Yes.
Yeah.
His blood and his fluids react to those things, so that's their explanation of a weapon against the black creatures. So you just throw it against the whale and you beat it.
Okay.
And that's how far I've played.
Wow.
And it's 10 hours.
Wow.
So you saying it's slow? Absolutely it is. It is 1,000% slow.
Wow. I'd be dying by then.
You were dying after 40 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And a lot of people have this game as their game of the year.
No.
You say no.
No.
So let's go over the list as we do. You've played Control.
No.
You've played Link's Awakening, the remake. You've played the Medieval remake. And Luigi's Mansion. And
I like Luigi Mansion.
So you've played those 5 games. You can officially make a top 5 list.
Yeah, right.
Where does this one stand?
Oh god. That stands at Don't.
You did make the comment on stream. How much did you pay for this?
I did.
And I guarantee I could have said any number you would have went too much.
And it's a new game.
It is a brand new game of this month.
Game.
Yeah.
God dang.
So Colin,
it's just too slow. It's just too slow.
And the story is weird.
Like I said, they brought in these key actors and actresses. You know, Lindsay Wagner. I mean, she goes way back. But even it doesn't help them. It doesn't help the game. It just doesn't.
Well, it's good acting, right? For what they're doing.
The graphics are good. I did comment about the graphics, and when it started out with him on the motorcycle and going through that, and then the girl that he came across, what was her name?
Fragile.
Right, Fragile.
The game has weird names.
Did she ever come back in the second part? Did you see her in the second part?
She comes back in that port scene.
Okay.
She plays a brief role because he ends up joining her on the boat to get out of town.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was setting the scene for these. I thought it was a Godzilla, invisible Godzilla monster. I'm expecting some invisible giant thing, and then they had something that was following him underground, like tremors.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
And so I was expecting something, you know, to come out of the ground, but that never happened. And I'm thinking Invisible Godzilla, but it actually had hands, you know.
And it had a creepy little mouth, and it took the dude.
Yeah, but
and dropped him in, and that caused the explosion.
Yeah. It's kind of all over the place.
It really is.
You're trying to grasp the story. You got the story, but it's just so painfully slow. And then now you have to go on these adventures that take forever. And that's why I'm saying, God, can't I run? This is taking so long for me just moving the guy forward, and then you're telling me how to make him run. And
you immediately trip and fall.
Right. But
or you'll hit the water and then immediately slip, you know, and
I've never had to do the camera thing, obviously. But it would be a good game. I say that, you know,
loosely.
If you're new to the gaming,
mm-hmm.
It would be a good learning game.
Well, that's why I had you play it. It's like so.
But I did so bad.
It's so brief and basic.
And
it's
it was
just
annoying. But it's a good learning game.
It's a good learning game for people that need to learn 3D gaming.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do it that way,
mm-hmm.
you know, help me use another part of my brain, because that's using another part of your brain.
I noticed that you had a lot of trouble with either controlling the person to walk, and then if it had anything to do with the camera at all, you had to stop and then move it.
Correct.
And then go.
Yeah, it was you know, honestly, it's using a different part of the brain.
Or your brain, anyways.
Well, no, not my brain.
Well, I'm so accustomed to it, it's just natural.
But you're using a different part of your brain to do those things.
Well, it's not like it's ambidextrous. I'm using... Well, okay.
It is. It is.
If you're right-handed, you use the left side of your brain. If you're left-handed, you use the right side. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, and I don't normally... obviously.
Have you ever tried doing daily tasks with your left hand? Your least dominant hand?
Why should I?
It weirds you out, like pouring a glass with your left hand instead of the right kind of deal.
Right.
Wiping your butt with the left hand instead of the right. Just examples.
Sure.
Yeah, just examples. Not saying it's weird.
But doing things with the other side of your brain.
Yeah, that. So is that what you were experiencing there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've never done it. I mean, that's why I didn't like playing games when you
went to the 3D games.
Just that's why I was never a big gamer with you, because it just, my head, my mind, I get frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Well, you were definitely getting frustrated.
Yeah, it was irritating.
But it wasn't that, like, you just didn't get what to do in the game. It was you didn't know.
I'm not familiar.
Anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've done anything with controllers, and even back when you were growing up, it was hard for me to do the controllers because I
knew the driving game. You
could
do the driving games because it was just hold the button down and turn.
And even that's hard.
Yeah, well,
that's hard to me.
Maybe if I get you a wheel, you actually know what you're doing then.
I even have a hard time driving in my Tesla, driving the Atari games on the Tesla. And I'm not even moving.
Love it. The only experience I have at gaming these days is in my fancy electric car playing the games from the 70s. What a comment. comments. All right. So where does this stand in the 5 games list now?
It's number 5.
It's last. Okay.
Yeah, that one's the last. I'd put Control way up further.
It's way better than this game?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot more going on in Control.
Yeah.
But it's not user as
So
I would really have a mental breakdown if I had to play Control.
So the story was slow. You didn't know what you were doing. The game was slow. Nothing was happening.
No, nothing is happening. I really don't know where people think that this is like this awesome game. It's not a freaking game. It's just not. It's not even a good movie game. Because I'm thinking, well, okay, well maybe we can make it into a movie that you can interact with. I'm like, oh my god, it's too slow doing that.
I mean, we could sit down and just watch the cutscenes of the game. We really could just do that.
Right?
You just don't even need to play it.
No,
play it,
yeah.
quote unquote.
Right. Yeah.
Because like I said, all I did was go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Doing
in 10 hours.
Nothing, right?
For 10 hours.
I'm weirdly into the game.
For 10 hours.
Yes. I'm weirdly into it. Just because it's weird, and I'm just sitting here.
You're
and
weirdly into
I have a podcast on. I'm listening to it.
Do you
and
cut to scenes?
Actually, I totally skipped side missions, and I was just going. I just want to do the main mission.
Yeah. See, you were all you. Yeah,
I did get impatient. I did get very impatient.
You were getting bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the whole building the roads thing. When I got the motorcycle, I was just weaving in and out of the rocks. I didn't even bother building a road.
Yeah.
I would hit a rock every now and again, but it was still faster than walking. Right? So.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That was Death Stranding. Favorite game still Luigi's Mansion? Or is it Zelda, Link's Awakening? That's a little island. Ha ha.
I enjoyed Luigi's. I mean, to me that's gaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so is the other one too.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Well,
I could see Control as a movie.
Yeah.
Interactive movie thing.
It was a lot more action gameplay to it. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Even though you were getting places, you felt like things were going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing going on. There ain't nothing going on.
This had a better map. It had a great map.
Yeah, but you can hardly read what's on the TV.
Well, the text was really small, yeah. But the map was great. It had the terrain and
the map was good.
I could do a path and know where I was going.
Yeah,
and it showed up in the real world and showed me where to go.
I mean,
I wish that was in Control.
If the TV were a little close, TV. If the TV were a little closer, I would have been able to see X, diamond, square, circle.
Sure.
See what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, since you're not familiar with those. But even then, like, you could mix up square and circle easily. Yeah. Just because you couldn't see it close enough. Well, alrighty, Mom. I think that's our last game of the year, unless you want to play something else in the month of December.
We might have to.
We might have to. You don't want to end the year on this note, do you?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
That would be awful.
I'll show you a list here, and we'll pick something.
Sure.
Because December, we're doing games we missed over the year. So popular games that we just didn't cover on the cast across the year.
Okay.
So.
Sounds good.
We'll pick something. Not from that list. We'll just pick something to talk about for whenever the year.
All right. Sounds good.
Maybe we'll play Pokemon in German.
See. Yeah, then you'll have to tell me everything.
Nah, it's part of the fun. I'll just...
okay. They'll just talk German.
Yeah. I'll just talk... It's Pokemon. Sure. It's easy. Just click a bunch of buttons. That's it.
Pokemon!
I don't know. I wouldn't do that to you. You already experienced Death Stranding. You don't need the experience playing a game in a language.
Torture me.
I won't torture you anymore.
Thank you.
I love you, Mom.
Thank you. I love you too. Bye.
I'll go. take this head on. Soon I'll come around. Lost and never found. Waiting for my words. Seen but never heard. Buried underground. But I'll keep coming.